What's your reaction to the president's moves?
I think he's doing absolutely the right thing. You know, the first thing I tell everybody when they're going to come to D.C. is I said, you need to be careful. You need to be careful where you stay. Be careful where you walk. Depending on what street you're on, you shouldn't be out after dark. You got to be very careful up here. So I'm very appreciative of what the president's doing. I'm part of a bill that Mike Lee's leading. Actually, take home rule back and give it back to Congress, where we should be the ones responsible for the safety. But the president's doing the right thing. I applaud him for what he's doing.
I mean, these capital homicide rates are insane.
The capital crime rates is absolutely insane. The insane part is that they keep saying that it's not at a 30-year low, that it continues to drop. It's weird how that works. But the main purpose here, the way that you try to get people to be scared enough into being taken over by a fascist, is to tell them that other people are coming for them. Look how scary it is. And it starts from the top down. That's why Donald Trump said this in the back end of his announcement of his fascist takeover of the law enforcement in that city just yesterday. This is how he went about it.
And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now.
He's into telling people what they do and don't have as far as their safety. He knows nothing about these folks' lives. He just tells them what they're supposed to believe from his perspective of extreme scare tactics so that he can implement whatever powers that he wants to. And he says that's the way it's going to be. And it's giving over your country to a guy who's very violent as he talks about, well, those things, mugged, raped, shot, or killed. This guy's a rapist. Why would you believe a rapist tell you that he's going to protect you from rapes that happen in the city that he chose to then say he's taking over? Matter of fact, there was some pushback about those numbers and how bad things really are in Washington, D.C.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
No, Eddie's very talented. Crime is down in Washington, D.C. Street crime, violent crime by 25%. And people have seen, they've noticed a big difference.
And the murder rates are plummeting. We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities.
When faced with facts, they have to then revert back to whatever kinds of fantasy story tales that they want to tell afterwards. But for some reason, on May 7th, Donald Trump, when he needed to benefit from talking about the reality of the lowered crime rates in Washington, D.C., he was all about it. So why no one then asks him why he changed his mind or decided to act like those numbers weren't what they were today is still beyond me. But that's just reality. That's just reality and facts. And it's up to us whether or not we're going to pay attention to that or pay attention to the same fear-mongering. Here's Janine Pirro.
President Trump has rightfully declared an emergency crisis of crime and deployed the National Guard, the ATF, the DEA, the FBI, so that criminals know now that we see them, we are watching them, and we're going to make them accountable. But make no mistake, Sean, this is just the beginning. Today was, as the president called it, Liberation Day. But we are now in the process of bringing to the attention of law-abiding citizens, not just in D.C., but throughout the country, that we're not going to tolerate crime that is out of control in the nation's capital. This is the shining city on the hill that our forefathers talked about. And in the end, it is an incredibly violent area. And, you know, whether crime is up or down, you know, they want to pat themselves on the back and say, gee, it's great. It's not as bad as it used to be. It is horrific. And the reason that press room today, and the president commented on it, was so packed is because those reporters in that room, and it was packed to the gills, experienced crime themselves. And some of the questions had to do with that very thing. We've got an area where criminals are emboldened for a variety of reasons.
Think about what Janine Pirro then just said, former Fox News host who then was given this position here in D.C. Despite reality, things are actually horrific. It doesn't matter if crime's up or down or somewhere in between. It doesn't matter. Think about that. The people that want to take over your city and say they're going to implement people that will enforce violent, aggressive behaviors in your city with long guns, they said the reality doesn't matter. Why don't we stop and think about that? Reality doesn't matter. It's actually horrific. It doesn't matter if crime is down. It doesn't matter if the policies in place are actually lowering the crime rates. That doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, why are you doing it? And by the way, one other thing, because Janine Pirro then also said, we want to let the American people know. The American people, American citizens know that we're going to be in the streets and we're watching you to make sure things are a certain way. There's this one party that called themselves Republicans a long time ago that said, we don't want police states. We don't want people monitoring us. We want this long arm of the government out of our lives. What happened to those people? I want you to listen to what these brown shirts running around in the streets are saying to people sitting at their homes on their porches. Pay attention.
How y'all doing today? Y'all staying in that trouble? You got your ID on you, Chip?
No, I live right here.
Okay, cool.
It's a cigarette. Did y'all get a call or something about right here?
No, so we're doing checks, keeping everybody safe down here, right? Have you heard of the federal surge that Donald Trump's putting out?
No.
Right. You don't follow like
No.
Code 3, anything like that people are putting up? All right, so yeah, Trump's got all federal agencies kind of coming together for 7 days, going out, trying to stop the violent crime, all kind of stuff. So we're out here contacting people, talking to them, right? Quality of life offenses, smoking, drinking in public, right? Can't happen outside, right? Most people know that. Right? So we're contacting people, trying to advise them of the law so they learn, right? And then if there's other stuff going on where it turns into there's multiple agencies or somebody, there's a shooting and things like that. There's extra hands available, all right? So we're just out here trying to inform people and educate people. It's not like we're trying to just go grab people and ruin someone's life over a joint or something like that, all right?
I only asked because when you walked up, at the moment you walked up, you only had asked.
Yeah, well, it smelled like the odor of marijuana, burnt marijuana in the air, right? And you're the only guy that had something lit in your hand, and I didn't flash like you, so I didn't realize it was just a cigarette. So that's on me. I appreciate you understanding and not getting shit with me. All right, so just know, right? Learn, teach, tell your boys, like, yo, everybody's out, from FBI to police. Right? So do your thing. Let them know. Don't be smoking outside. Don't be drinking outside. Because Donald Trump is tired of it. People come to visit.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know smoking in public?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the recreational
Because
offense.
in Maryland, it's recreational use, so I didn't know.
Yeah, so DC, it's recreational use as well, right? But you can legally possess up to 2 ounces. You can gift an ounce to your boy, right? So if you had 2 ounces and he said he needed a zip, you can give him a zip, but you can't smoke outside.
That's not North Korea. That's not a country. That's not in some country where we talk about the leadership sending in law enforcement at a broad scale to patrol the streets and randomly walk up on people's property and ask for their ID. I'm going to go through the things that guy said in case you couldn't really hear it. First thing, y'all staying out of trouble? What trouble is there to get into? I'm a grown-ass man sitting on my porch. Then he asked for his ID. You got your ID on you, chief? What do you need my ID for? I'm at home, bro. There's no driving. There's no public access. There's nobody doing anything else because he smelled the smell of marijuana in the air and you're the only person with something lit in your hands. Yet, at the same time, he didn't admit that officer, that brown shirt, didn't say, yeah, so, now that you got that marijuana cigarette in your hand, now that that's there, that's what I'm wondering about. So that's what I'm asking because you can't be smoking out here in public, which is number 3. You can't sit on your porch and smoke nor drink anymore. They're just out advising people of what the rules are in Donald Trump's new militarized police state that he's installed in this city now. The test run was Los Angeles, and now it's in D.C. So when we said the test run was in Los Angeles and people said, you guys are going crazy, they're going after the violent, criminal, illegal aliens. Those 2-3 guys sitting on the porch, were they violent, legal, criminal aliens, or were they American effing citizens? Black men that they're now patrolling and asking for their ID because they're smoking a cigarette. So since he confirmed he's smoking a cigarette, what the marijuana did you smell in the air, brown shirt? He didn't. He's patrolling and he's profiling. I mean, there must be some air around here, man. You guys are black. And the most telling part about it, Donald Trump is tired of it. He said that. That's not me making that up. These are the new rules, you guys. We're here to stop all the crime, and Donald Trump is tired of it. Where's Donald Trump? Is Donald Trump out here? What's Donald Trump seeing out here that he's tired of? Or is he looking to install his militarized state on the country? It is a takeover of our country. And I'm letting all you guys know that look like what I think are violent criminals, or who may get finally fed up with this police state, who might fight back. I'm gonna let y'all know we're already out here with big guns. And if you take a step the wrong way, I got the authority to shoot because Donald Trump is tired of it. He even said, I appreciate you not getting all snippy with me or bristly. Is that against the law now too? Because I still remember this guy who campaigned and said they're going after violent, illegal, alien criminals. Now the crime is sitting on your porch and having a drink. That's how fascism works. As a matter of fact, let me give you this last clip. Mark E. Elias was on the Brian Tyler Cohen show, and he talked very clearly and very distinctly about how this is working and why it's working this way. This is why Donald Trump does it. This is how fascists operate, and it's impossible to deny that this is what we're looking at.
So look, I want everyone to pay particularly close attention to this part. We've already seen Donald Trump send the military into a major U.S. city. It's Los Angeles, right? He brought in the National Guard, then he sent in active duty military. And he did not do it because they were needed. He did not do it because they were requested by the governor or by the mayor. He did it because he wanted to manufacture a false narrative that the city of Los Angeles was out of control, that there were these tremendous threats to law and order as an excuse. And why did he want that excuse? He wanted that excuse for precisely the reason, Brian, you just said. He wanted to start getting the American people accustomed to the idea that there would be U.S. military, National Guard, U.S. And federal law enforcement, people in masks, right? Remember, at that point, we were not used to people seeing masked agents throwing people into the back of vans. He wanted to get people used to that. Well, now here we are a few months later, and we are watching it happen on the East Coast in Washington, D.C. And he's doing it for the same reason. He wants people to get used to the idea that there are FBI agents acting as police, that he has taken over local law enforcement. He's taken over the DC Metropolitan Police, and that he has deployed the National Guard. And I assume very, very soon he will announce he's deploying the U.S. military as well. These are dangerous times we live in. They are dangerous times when we are starting to see this happen in one city and now a second city, where we're seeing it escalate from National Guard to military in Los Angeles, from National Guard to taking over local law enforcement and using FBI agents as local police in Washington, D.C. But it's not going to end there. It's going to spread from city to city, then to the suburbs, then to more rural areas, until Donald Trump feels like he has complete authority over all law enforcement in this country. The ones that stand up to him, he will threaten. The ones that bow down, he will reward. And all of this is in furtherance of his efforts to undermine democracy, undermine the rule of law, to squelch and intimidate people who are willing to stand up and speak out, to intimidate and to have the large institutions, the legacy media, the law firms, the universities, have them bow down and be intimidated. And then ultimately, Brian, as you said, free and fair elections are the cornerstone, the crown jewel of what he wants to undermine.
You can call it crazy. You can call him having Trump derangement syndrome, but everything that he said is absolutely what we're seeing. You have to deny your reality in order to deny what he's doing.